and welcome to the Light and Energy Show with me, Claire Wiles, on the Light and Energy channel. We're joined today by a wonderful studio audience, so welcome everybody. Today's topic is on bursting with vitality. One of the things I find with people today, that they have often got a low energy level. They're very tired, sluggish, come home from work, fall asleep in front of the telly, no energy left to do anything they want to. So I'm going to ask our studio audience, what does vitality mean to them?
Tired, being tired all the time.
Okay, being tired all the time.
Low energy.
Okay. And what attributes may you have if you had a lot of vitality?
Healthy skin.
Good, healthy skin, yes.
High energy levels.
High energy levels, yes. Being able to actually enjoy all the things that you want to in life without feeling you're too tired or lack of motivation. So today, what I'm going to do is show you some easy ways to improve your diet. But firstly, let's have a look at what's wrong with today's diet. Again, I'll ask our studio audience, what do you think is wrong with today's diet?
It's too much fast food.
Too much fast food, good.
Too many additives in
Yes, too many additives.
Too much processed food.
Too much processed food, yes. Good. All these things actually deplete our energy levels. 75% of our energy goes into digesting our food. So if we're having food that is actually very hard to digest, then we will then become very tired. There's a big problem as well with allergies and intolerances. I'll ask our audience if any of them would like to share with us if they have a problem with a certain food.
Yes, I do. I have a slight intolerance to wheat and dairy.
Wheat and dairy, thank you. Wheat and dairy are becoming very common problems. Certainly with wheat, if we think about today's diet, perhaps we may have toast or cereal for breakfast, mid-morning piece of cake, bar of chocolate or something with some wheat in it, lunchtime a sandwich, mid-afternoon, someone's birthday at work, another piece of cake. We go home in the evening, we might have some pasta or something in pastry. That is an enormous amount of wheat for the digestion to cope with. Now, wheat itself has a protein in it called gluten, and gluten is rather like a wallpaper paste. So if you imagine some of your small intestine, a very small tube, it's like pouring wallpaper paste down a hose pipe. And of course, that's not very comfortable, which is why you can often feel bloated after having your lunch. Certain foods, like, for example, white French stick, very nice to eat, but often you feel like you need a sleep in the afternoon when you've enjoyed your lunch because it's very hard to digest. Dairy, another problem. Sarah mentioned that she has a problem with dairy. Dairy has two components, one of which is called lactose, which is a milk sugar. And of course, lactose requires an enzyme called lactase to break it down. Many people are deficient in this particular enzyme, so they will find tolerating dairy very difficult. So the things I'm going to talk to you about today actually will be wheat and dairy free and very simple to make. Okay, so if we have a look at some of the things that are good for you, I'll ask our studio audience, anybody here eat almonds?
Yes.
Yes? Almonds are very good for balancing blood sugar level. Sometimes you will find that perhaps you may have gone right the way from breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you wonder why you feel tired. Your body's run out of fuel. I always say to people they wouldn't perhaps get in their car with no petrol in their car and expect to drive 100 miles and expect their car to get them there. Our bodies are very much the same. We need a regular fuel. And almonds are absolutely excellent for this. Did you know that just 6 almonds can balance your blood sugar level? Which is amazing, do you not think? Yes. They're very high in magnesium, so again, very good for energy levels. We then have here some apricots. I'll ask our audience if they know what apricots are high in.
Iron.
Iron, yes, and also
Vitamin C.
yes, but also beta-carotene. Beta-carotene actually converts to vitamin A in the body, and vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin that's needed by every cell in our body. And anything that is under what we would call the red or orange ray of colours, so things like tomatoes, red peppers, carrots, anything of the red or orange colour actually helps to give us energy because of the phytochemicals that they have in there. So if you want to improve your energy level, it's really good to have a mixture of those sorts of fruit and vegetables in your diet. It's quite simple to actually mix up a salad with perhaps some chopped carrot and chopped apple in it and use something like quinoa. Quinoa is an absolutely amazing grain. It's actually a South American grain, and it contains all 8 what are called essential amino acids. So although we see it as a starch, it's actually a protein as well. Brilliant for lunchtime. If you have a lunch that's very high in what we would call refined carbohydrates, like for example a white bread sandwich, you will feel very tired afterwards. So using something like quinoa and having a quinoa salad, absolutely brilliant, and maybe followed with perhaps an apple in the afternoon. Now I'm going to make for you something very simple. Now this is an apricot nut and seed gâteau, and I'm very interested in the effect of raw foods on the body, and nothing that we're going to make on these shows will take very long. So this is an extremely simple recipe, providing you have a food processor, of course. So the first thing that we're going to put into our recipe today is 225 grams of dried apricots that have been soaked overnight in an orange juice. We then put in 100 grams of almonds, and 100 grams of pumpkin seeds, very high in zinc, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. An interesting thing about sunflower seeds is for anybody trying to give up smoking, keep a small bag of sunflower seeds in your pocket, and every time you feel like you might want a cigarette, have a handful of sunflower seeds. It really works. We're putting in 150 grams of ground almonds and 100 grams of hazelnuts and 175 grams of raisins. And then all we do is let the food processor do its work. Okay. Then in our prepared cake tin, which is lined, we just pop our mixture into the cake tin on top of the greaseproof paper. I would actually grease the greaseproof paper with some dairy-free spread so that it makes sure that the ingredients don't stick, but also that it is suitable for vegans as well. So this recipe here is suitable for people with a yeast allergy, a dairy allergy, a wheat allergy, but obviously not a nut allergy. And then we press that firmly into our prepared tin. And that's it. We pop it in the fridge overnight. The next day, you will have your apricot nut and seed gâteau ready to use. So those times mid-morning, mid-afternoon, when you feel like you need a bit of a snack and you might go and get a bar of chocolate or something from the canteen at work, or a biscuit if you're at home, you can have a piece of this and know that actually you're having something that's incredibly good for you that tastes really nice. Another food that I want to talk to you about actually is garlic, especially this time of year as we're going towards the winter months. I'll ask our audience if they like garlic. Oh, yes. Yes, good. Garlic, I always call garlic the anti-plant because it's antibacterial, it's antiviral, but it's also a little bit antisocial sometimes if you eat too much of it raw. But it is incredibly good for you. Joking aside, through the winter months, it's incredibly good to either take a garlic capsule every day or to actually have raw garlic. Of course, once you've cooked garlic, I'm sorry, but the ingredients in there that are good for you are destroyed by heating, so it does have to be raw. Another good food to have is beetroot. Does anybody here in the audience use beetroot? Yeah, beetroot is actually an old Romany blood cleanser. So again, it's red colour under the red ray, very good for giving energy, but very good for clearing the blood. So juicing raw beetroot, another good tip for energy. Now, I'm going to make you another food here. In our audience, who likes nice sweet puddings? Yeah? This is a very simple to make dessert. And what we're going to make this with is something called silken tofu. Now, tofu is actually a soybean curd, and that means that it's very good particularly for women, although it's fine for men to have it, of course. But tofu or soya is actually proven to help balance women's hormones. So if you are maybe coming towards the menopause or suffering with period problems, actually using some tofu or soya in the diet is a really good idea. Now, silken tofu is much softer than actually buying a block of hard tofu, so it's very good for making desserts. And all we're going to do here is blend some silken tofu with some fresh raspberries. Again, they're red, very good for energy, and something called agave syrup. Now, agave syrup actually comes from a plant. It actually comes from, strangely enough, the wild agave plant, which is a native plant in Mexico. So you could mix it with your tequila if you wanted. And we're just going to put a good dollop of agave syrup on there. Agave syrup is actually a good alternative to sugar because it's not so high on what's called the glycemic index. The glycemic index is a measurement of how much carbohydrates cause a rise in your blood sugar level. So using something that's not so high on the glycemic index basically means your blood sugar levels stay nice and stable. And then all we're going to do is mix this up. And that's your dessert ready. So what could be easier than that? I'd like to ask a couple of members of our studio audience if they'd like to come and taste the dessert for us. So, Janice and Val, what do you think? Do you like it?
Delicious.
Good.
I've never tried it before, but it's lovely.
And very, very simple to make, as you can see. Thank you. You can take that back to your seats with you if you like. Okay. Lovely. So hopefully I've given you a few ideas there of things that you can make that are very easy to help to boost your energy level. So watch out for refined foods. Don't have too many additives if you can help it. Basically, the more that we eat in line with nature, the better. Mother Nature put everything there we needed for our own health and well-being. So thank you to our studio audience for joining us today. And all the information on today's show and the recipes can be found in the show notes on www.thelightenergychannel.tv. And whilst you're on the website, you can actually sign up to our newsletter, which will keep you in touch with what's going on here at the Light and Energy channel. And you can also find us on Facebook. So thank you very much for joining me in Light and Energy. Goodbye.